Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my science project. The title you're probably seeing is a working title. I really want to go to what we usually do and use something Greek or Roman. We don't usually use Roman, but maybe, a change. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for the comments you made last video. They were really helpful, and thank you, just like any concern you have. Which brings me to my next point, or the topics that were brought up in the comments, which were our number one issue is fuel. Sorry for my writing, but I hope you understand what that is. Second is gravity. Um, yeah, in case y'all didn't know, Earth has gravity, and it takes a lot to get out of it, even right here. Um, so yeah, that's going to be an issue. I did some researching before this video, and so I have some ideas to propose what we can improve in terms of fuel. Um, Obviously, anything I've tried and or thought of has been thought of probably before I was even born. So we're just here to have fun, I guess. Um, this is, a little demonstration that I drew up right before this video to show you my train of thought. So the part about fuel and the hardest part about this whole thing is takeoff, because takeoff takes the most amount of fuel. Um, yeah, and effort. That's the kicker for this whole project, is trying to get off the way we want to. And funny enough, when it comes to a spaceship, most of it is just fuel. Like, here is the astronauts. This is the rocket. Most of that is just fuel. It's only this part. Hold on, what's a good color? Let's use purple. It's only like this part that's actually the astronauts. So my goal is try to find a way to, what color? Let's use yellow. Minimize weight plus space and um, I guess propose. Here, I'm just going to do print pros. Propose fuel and gravity. Obviously, I'm not smart enough to, gravity's gravity. We'll talk about that in future videos. But anyway, uh, so the initial concept of the spaceship I had in mind. Let's use. I guess let's go back to white. Um, it was kind of be like a jet. That's kind of the basic idea I had for the airplane, or the spacecraft. Obviously, that has its own issues, because I learned that, and here's the problem: jets require air to function, or at least the fuel does. Um, so here's what I proposed. I guess yeah, I could just start drawing it now. Um, right here. So let's say this we're going off because I already used the space for the other. Um, my goal is to use, jet, something jet-like. Actually, no, that's to take off, right? However, there's going to be a point A. Let's use orange. So let's say there's A to B. So A and B. We'll have that little window to change our means of fuel, or like what propels us. So we'll use it. So let's just say for now we're using jet. But once we get to this will be like a transition window right here. And then by the time we leave B, we can be using another kind of fuel. What that is, I don't know yet. If you have any ideas, I know I have it on my computer, but for the sake of consistency, uh, yeah, just leave it in the comments, or I can add it in my next video. So yeah, um, so the basic characteristics. For a while, because someone mentioned the fuel, and I was concerned about how much fuel they had for rockets, that I thought instead of having a jet, we were gonna have to use something like or make something like the Axiom. If you don't know what the Axiom is, it's the like the cruise ship, or just like that size of it from Wall-E. And that would have been a whole mess. Maybe in the future, but we're not in the future. So yeah, I'm looking for something. Ideally, if you saw my first video, I would have had 4 people on this manning this crew. However, with a jet, it's more likely going to be 2 people. Um, yeah, and I guess we could probably identify what our main goals are for this. I'll tell you what we're not doing. One, we're not doing artificial gravity. Um, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm just a guy. Two, I heard that it's really expensive and obviously not fully formed. Otherwise, we would have been doing it by now in space. And organizations are pretty stingy with risks and money. So that's a no-go. Second, that we're not doing any other terrestrial. I'm gonna assume this is the right way to spell it. Travel. We are not immediately planning, or I am not planning to use this for another planet or moon or anything. Our main goal right now, like I said, take off. Take off. Ooh, my print is really bad. And then I guess the basic concept is just maneuver around space. And we'll get to my concepts about that. I brought that up in my first video, but I feel like I can reiterate that better. So test, I guess we'll call it, and then re-entry. Now, re-entry's hard. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Maybe we could do something like that's not really good. I was gonna do a question mark. Um, Maybe we could do something like our takeoff, where we switch back to jet fuel. Yeah. Oh yeah. So back to the characteristics. One, looks like a jet. Functions like a jet sometimes. Two, it can change, I guess. Change fuel. So 1 minute it's jet fuel, and the next is whatever would work in space. Yeah. What else for this can we do? Gravity. So the person who commented in my last video was that gravity is the problem because most of the fuel is spent um on takeoff, and that's the problem. That's what we don't want. What else do I have planned? Um, I guess we could discuss the necessities. Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, of course. So we could talk about the necessities of what is needed in this ship. Um, we kind of talked over this also in our last video, but now that we kind of have an idea of what we're doing and what is happening, we can plan appropriately. First things first, temperature. Well, I guess first things first would be the next one I'm doing. Oxygen. Obviously, I mean, these are pretty self-explanatory. We need to make sure it's appropriate for our two pilots, I guess, and then oxygen, obviously to breathe. Three, I guess here's some factors we should probably think of. Um, Here, let's do another color. Let's bring back purple. Questions. How long is our trip? Which also brings in the next questions I have to research. How long is takeoff? Re-entry? Re-entry. And how long is our test stage? Oh, whoops, I forgot to re-entry. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then there's some additional questions we can ask, but right now that'll go into yellow. What for in future? So this question is just asking, or this concept is just asking, what is the concept of the spaceship other than just to maneuver around space? I guess that could be very well the answer. It's just um, improving maneuverability. I don't know if I spelled that right. Good thing this is not a spelling test. Improving maneuverability in space. Um, and then in the future, we have other goals such as a range, future goals. We could have collecting of certain things, so we could make missions specifically with the expertise of um, geolo no, yeah, geological curiosity. Um, let's see, what other? I guess that would be another question to ask ourselves. Professions needed slash required to man the ship. Because obviously, as you know, the reason why we go to space is to study stuff. So, um, yeah, well, I guess we can talk about further things of, um, we can talk further about what kind of expeditions we're planning for to improve. Um, yeah, fuel gravity. So obviously, gravity is still in question. We haven't really touched on gravity, mainly because I'm not smart enough. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, I cannot. There you go. Um, yeah. So I guess in terms of, let's go back to what I was saying earlier about takeoff and the re-entry, or not, well, just the maneuverability of the thrusters. We talked about it in the first video as well. I feel like we're just doing a bunch of reiterating. Um, yeah, so the goal is to have, for the most part, omnidirectional thrusters. So let's make let's just make a little bit of fire for thrusters. Um, so I guess the goals, obviously, to push up. Here, let's use a different color. Let's use yellow again. Actually, you know what? Let's use orange. Um, So the main, obviously trying to get up in terms of blast off. And then while we're in space, the wonderful thing about space is that it doesn't take much fuel because there's no resistance. So you could go that way forever. Um, so my hope, um, hmm, obviously I guess it would have to tilt that way. So it wouldn't only go up, but it could also push us horizontally, obviously the way we want to go. Um, yeah, and I guess light maneuverability in terms of circular motion to get a specific angle. Yeah. I think I'll leave this video off here. It's been about 16 minutes, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope we made some progress that y'all are satisfied with. Let me know what you think. Um, Let me know what other topic you'd like me to bring up. Give me any sort of critique, especially if you're qualified or know anybody that's qualified. Please let them know. Um, and just let me know what y'all think. Let me know what I can improve on. Let me know other topics, other things. Um, in the future, maybe even next episode, we will be trying a game called Kerbal Space Program. So be excited for that. And those things will teach us. I have no more room. Physics, light physics, because obviously it's a game, it's not real life. And in the future, we'll leave it at that. So key takeaways are fuel, um, design. Did I have anything for design? No, I guess design. Um, and yeah, and then we can answer these questions later in the video or in the series. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thank you for your support. The last episode I got about this and Fallout, um, received a lot of support. So I appreciate y'all very much. Have a great day.